You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. And we welcome you to Ames, Iowa. Today we're at Hilton Coliseum as the Iowa State Cyclones are taking on the 12th ranked Utah Utes in women's collegiate gymnastics. Hey everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with my fellow Olympic medalist Bridget Sloan. We're broadcasting from home today because of the snowmageddon that has wreaked havoc on most of America. But I'm happy to be working with you today, Bridget. And for both Utah and Iowa State, this is an important meet. We're in the 4th week of the season, and both of these teams got off to a bit of a slow start.
They might have gotten off to a bit of a slow start, but I can promise you today's a big moment for both teams. Utah trying to put up a really strong away score, where Iowa State is really focusing on the details. They were working on those minor details and strong details in practice, and they're trying to implement those into the competition today.
Of course, Utah is one of the iconic programs in all of women's collegiate gymnastics, and this year they're led by 3 superstars.
Sophomore Avery Neff, she is an absolute stud on every event she competes. Junior Ella Zerbis, who is so cool, calm, and collected, an outstanding performer. And senior McKenna Smith, who knows how to do big gymnastics but have so much fun while doing it. Her floor routine is one of my favorites, so I cannot wait for that today.
You can take a look at some of the accolades from the veteran contributors on this team. They're returning 18 of 24 routines from last season. Now for the home opener for Iowa State, this is a big day for Haley Harden. And boy, she's gotten off to a terrific start this year with scores of 9.9s last week on both vault and floor exercise. We talked to the head coach, Ashley Miles-Greig, this week, and she noted a few of the goals that Iowa State will be focusing on today. They want to score a 196 total score, which means a 49 plus on every event. That's essentially a 9.8 average or better. They're looking for 3+ stuck landings on bars, 4+ stuck landings on beam, and of course complete their leaps and jumps and get full credit for all of their difficulties. So that is the goal for the Iowa State Cyclones. Obviously, Utah, this dynamic program, is a heavy favorite to win the team competition today, but there's more at stake than just a win-loss, isn't there, Bridget?
There is, and that is the beauty of NCAA gymnastics, is every single team has individual goals. Like I mentioned, Utah, they are trying to put up a big away score that is so crucial as we go out through the season and the NQS starts to come into play. And then, like you mentioned, Bar, Iowa State wanting to get those stuck landings. Those stuck landings make so much of a difference throughout the competition, so I'm really excited to see that today.
All right, let's remind the audience the typical meet format in a dual meet in NCAA gymnastics. Each team will put up 6 athletes on each event, counting just the top 5 out of those 6 performances on each event towards the team score. The home order is what we call the Olympic order: vault, bars, beam, and floor. The visiting team, in this case today Utah, will open up on the bars and they will finish on the beam. It's the first time the Utah Utes have ever competed here at the Hilton Coliseum. Of course, with conference realignment, they joined the Big 12 a couple of years ago, and they have been one of the dominant programs in the history of NCAA gymnastics. 49 times they have qualified to the national championships. Paige Willis for Iowa State will lead off the home team on vault.
Paige with the Yurchenko full. Slight pike down on that landing, but what I loved was that controlled landing. So really nice start for Iowa State. We're not going to see a lot of those 10-0 start values on this event, but sometimes, Bart, it's all about that risk versus reward. So if your athlete can do a huge Yurchenko full at that 9.95 start value, it really does work out.
McKenna Smith, the senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, will lead off on bars for the Utes.
Oh! Dragging her feet there. You saw that foot hit the ground. That is an automatic deduction. McKenna, normally a very strong and consistent lead off. Not the routine they wanted to start with, but that is the beauty of having 6 athletes. So this is going to be the score that they're going to want to drop. But right here, this is a pack salto down to the low bar. It looked like she almost stalled in the air bar and just couldn't get those feet under her. But really nice job on that dismount and solidifies that routine with the stuck landing.
Interesting to see what the judges will do with that. There's Grace McCallum, one of the assistant coaches now for Utah. Of course, she, the legendary Olympic and national champion. Ella Roberts now up on vault for Iowa State.
Very nice. Yurchenko half on, tuck off. I watched that in warm-up, and Bart, they were a little rocky in warm-ups, but guess what? She can hit it when it counts. Really nice job. Gonna see tuck off the vault. Slight step on that landing, but overall really nice job.
All right, so as we mentioned at the top of the show, you have 6 athletes competing on each team. You count the best 5 out of 6 scores towards the team total. So after the mistake from McKenna Smith, where her feet touched the ground, should be a major deduction, although we saw the other day that some of the judges don't see it as a major deduction. Seemed like scores were a little bit high the other day when we saw a similar mistake by a gymnast from another team, let's just say. There is Carly Dockendorf, the head coach, the only head coach in NCAA history to reach the Final Four in her first season. Of course, she's been with the program for 9 years. This is her 3rd as the head coach. Here's Abby Rissman.
Beautiful eagle grip.
Wow.
Gotta have that shoulder flexibility there, which she does. Gorgeous pack to the low bar. So far, really beautiful job. You see that toe point in the leg extension. Just the dismount. Double layout.
Wow.
And gets the stick. Really nice job.
Now, this is the kind of gymnastics that scores well in college. Clean form, perfect technique and execution.
Little flexed feet as she was coming towards the bar, but gets those grips over the top and finishes with that gorgeous double layout. Really nice job, again, getting this Utah team back on track.
Remember, the score was in for McKenna Smith, only a 9.325. We go back now to Iowa State on vault, Aubrey Gagne.
Very nice. Yurchenko full there. You saw the hop on the landing. Now, Bart, from our angle, we did see a little bit of leg separation. There was a slight hike down. So, unfortunately, those are areas where the judges are looking for the deductions. Would love to see her keep those hips open a little bit longer, but really nice job for Aubrey.
You see on the right side of your screen there, those are the running scores for both of the teams. Wills and Ella Roberts, 9.65 and 9.6 in those 2 leadoff spots on vault for Iowa State. Abby Rissman, a 9.85, which was a clutch routine after the mistake from Smith. Now, this brings up Anna Poderariu, former Canadian national team member.
Very nice cast handstand. Anna's a very smooth bar swinger. Maloney, gorgeous bail. You see her legs glued together right at the top, right there. And the dismount.
Yeah.
Really nice job. Excellent execution throughout that entire routine.
The best score of the year so far for Utah is a 197.3. They're hoping to improve on that this weekend. Beautiful technique and execution there.
Gorgeous.
Back to the vault now. Federique Scarbosa. They call her Fred. She's the all-arounder for Iowa State. She'll compete in all 4 apparatus. Aubrey Gani had a 9.725, their high score so far over there. Iowa State had a complete coaching turnover this last year, other than the head coach, Ashley Miles-Grieg, and 7 freshmen and 2 transfers. So they have a very inexperienced team in many ways, but hoping to today, in front of a large ESPN audience and against the Utah Utes, who's been in this situation before, to notch a good score and get them back on track. Ella Zerbis now, after Anna Potterio had the second straight 9.85 for Utah.
Ella's got a combination here. Sometimes she takes that to the low bar, sometimes she goes right back up to her pack, so really nice job. Ella does a beautiful job of being calm when she competes. Nice save on that cast handstand. And the dismount.
Oh, yeah.
Another stuck landing. Very
earlier this
job
week,
there.
We were talking with Carly Dockendorf, and she says, you can almost put the metrics on the team that sticks the most landings is going to win the national championship. And they seem dialed in on those landings today, Bridget.
They do, and this is where it all starts. They want to hit this now so that when postseason comes, it's just like second nature. So really nice job for Utah.
Noelle Adams, the sophomore. This is her first appearance on the vault this season. Yeah.
Very nice, Yurchenko. Would love to see her get just a little bit more block off the table, but excellent job on securing that landing right there, just a little bit closed in her shoulders. Great body position throughout. Very nice job for Noelle.
Here's the head coach for the Iowa State Cyclones, Ashley Miles-Grieg, herself a legend at Alabama about 20 years ago. And she has helped administer one of the largest turnarounds in this program history. Her first year back in 2024 had an amazing season, fell a little bit short last year, so they come into this competition with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, hoping to pick up the momentum. Bailey Stroud now, after Ella Zerbis, got the third straight 9.85 for Utah. Oh!
And that was a fall. That was a ray. Really powerful skill for Bailey, but just too far over the bar. Bailey's job here is to finish this routine as best she can. Having that fall, that's a guaranteed 5/10 deduction.
So remember, McKenna Smith had only a 9.325, so this will hurt because they're going to have to count a half a point off. What happened there?
I mean, Bart, her feet came off way too late, and that is a very difficult skill because you're flipping forward, and unfortunately, I mean, she had those arms extended, but those feet came off way too late.
Here is the star vaulter and floor exercise competitor, Haley Harden. Last week had a 9.9.
Sticks the landing, but really deep squat there. She actually had a little kind of scare in warm-up, so nice to see her complete this vault. Very good distance from the vault, but again, lacking that block. So if she can get that combination of distance and the block, that is going to be an amazing vault.
I got to hand it to her athleticism because most people would have been on their rear end, but she managed to figure out a way with those strong legs to stick that landing, even though there'll be deductions for going so low. Now here is Avery Neff. Last year she was one of the most heavily recruited athletes in the country. Every team in the country wanted her, and of course she's from Utah and chose to stay near home. And what a contribution she's already making to this legendary program at Utah, Bridget.
Avery is outstanding on all 4 events, but one thing she does so well is she's not afraid to do the difficult skills. She has one of the hardest dismounts in NCAA.
Last year's Big 12 Newcomer of the Year.
Getting her right down to the low bar. Very nice job keeping those legs glued together. And this dismount. Full twisting double layout.
There it is.
Wow. She flares at the end of that dismount, showing her body extension in that laid out position. Take another look here. This is a full twisting double layout. Very difficult to do. A little bit of leg separation from this angle, but wow, really impressive.
And there's only a handful of people in the world that can do a dismount that difficult and to do it that well. Avery Neff. Okay, they needed that hit because Bailey Stroud only scored a 9-0, meaning you see the scoring tower on your right. They're going to have to count that 9-3-2-5. Haley Harden ended up with a 9-6-5 on vault. A respectable start for Iowa State, a 48-4. The weight on the score for Avery Neff. Expect it to be good. And Carly Dockendorf, when we spoke with her this week, you know, I was asking her about what is the Utah brand, and she said, well, what do you think? And I said, I think it's clean execution, technique, and form. What do you think, Bridget?
I agree, and I think she did a great job kind of explaining that to us.
Avery Neff gets a 9-8-7-5. So more from Ames when we come back. Ames, Iowa. Today we have Utah and Iowa State on ESPN. Utah leads by 0.35 after the first rotation, but Utah had some uncharacteristic mistakes on bars. In fact, that's their lowest bar score since back in 2017, but they still have the lead, 48-7-5 to Iowa State's 48-4. Now, the perfect 10, of course, is the goal for every gymnast. So far this season in the NCAA, there have only been 3.
One being from LSU's Kaylin Chio. Not surprised here. This is an outstanding athlete. I'm sure there will be more in her future. And the one and only Jordan Childs on vault. Such a huge moment for her and her team. And competing today, Avery Neff, first meet, scores a perfect 10 on vault. Look at this form, feet glued together. Such a nice job, and she runs over to assistant coach Mike Hunger and actually thanked him. I mean, she did all the work, but what a great athlete and just great person all around.
Last year's Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. There's Mike Hunger. He's a member of that coaching staff, and this is his second year with Utah, and obviously he's got a great team to work with. But Iowa State, Utah not up off to the start that they had hoped. A disappointing first rotation, so they're going to need to pick it up here in the next rotation.
Blackberries, strawberries, banana, oranges, cantaloupe, watermelon, honeydew.
Thursday night, we'll have an ESPN women's basketball doubleheader. 9th-ranked TCU hosts Kansas in our first game at 6 Eastern. Then number 9, Louisville against Stanford. Number 8, Louisville against Stanford at Maples Pavilion. Both are also on the ESPN app. And next rotation, we'll have Iowa State moving on to the uneven bars and Utah on the vault, where they are currently ranked 2nd in the country. You're not going to want to miss this. Action today between Utah and Iowa State in women's NCAA gymnastics. The end of the first of 4 rotations. A disappointing opening rotation for the Utah Utes, who are normally way up in the rankings in terms of their scores on bars, Bridget.
Not the best start, but this is an event. Vault is a great event for them, so this is where they can really bounce back here.
Okay, they are currently number 2 in the country. Clara Raposo will be their leadoff vaulter. 6 compete. The best 5 count towards a team total.
Very big Yurchenko, 1.5. We will see a lot of 10-0 start values from this Utah team on vault. Big step forward on the landing. for Clara, but overall a really good start, kind of building that momentum on this second event.
Raposo just a sophomore, and Carly Dockendorf, the coach at Utah, was telling she's really proud of the returning athletes and their commitment this year to finishing a little bit higher. Last year they finished 4th at the NCAAs. Here's Paige Wills now for Iowa State on bars.
Really nice transitions to the low bar. Paige was an exhibition who is now in this leadoff position. Really nice job, just the dismount, double layout.
Yeah!
Wow, what a start for Iowa State.
Oh, and they're gonna need a good start here because this has been the most inconsistent event for the Iowa State Cyclones all year long. In fact, their scores have ranged within 2 points of each other. What a big Monday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the ESPN app. Number 5, Duke hosts number 23, Louisville at Cameron Indoor at 7 Eastern. Then undefeated, the number 1 Wildcats are in Provo to take on number 13, BYU. Should be a great night of hoops. Ella Zerbis now for Utah on Vol.
Another Yurchenko, 1.5. Almost sticks it. You saw that left foot. She did take a tiny step forward. Take another look here. Really nice job. Kind of bends those legs a little early, having a little bit of form break at the end of that Yurchenko 1.5.
Zerbis is part of that trio of athletes that are scoring the bulk of the high scores for the Utah Utes this year, and with the trademark clean execution, that's why she tends to score so well. Taylor Sanders, a freshman from Johnston, Iowa. Hometown girl now up for the Cyclones. 9-7-7-5 the score for Paige Wills.
She had a mistake last week right here. Good job there getting that combination. Short on that cast handstand there, but blind change, full pirouette, double tuck. And another stuck landing. Bart, we talked about how Iowa State was working on those details. Really nice job so far.
You mentioned she had a mistake last week, only an 8.925. She got it this week.
Really well done. Actually caught that Jaeger a little bit close. Holds on to it though and finishes that routine with a nice stuck double tuck.
Ella Zerbis for Utah in that second spot had a 9.875 for her clean execution. Here's Ashley Glynn, the senior.
Ashley has the capability of a huge Yurchenko 1.5. Really well done. One thing Ashley does so well is she's so tight on the vault that she gets such great power. Great block. Right there. Those arms are locked out straight. Would love to see her absorb that landing just a little bit more to get that stick, but another 10-0 start value for Utah.
Utah, not typically known for their power for vaulting, but they have gotten off to an outstanding start this year on that event. All 10-0 start values and very clean execution. Here's Ella Shell. Taylor Sanders had a 9.65.
Line change, Pike Jaeger, really well done there. You saw that full arm extension. Nice cast handstand, line change, full pirouette, double tuck. Oh! Just doesn't have enough momentum. She was a little off on that blind change, full pirouette. You saw you want their body to be completely straight on top of the bar. She just was a little crooked, and it's hard to get that momentum. I'm gonna take a look what I mean. So right there, you see she's a little crooked, tries to get it, but just doesn't have enough momentum there.
Back to the vault now. McKenna Smith, you see her vault average. Ashley Glynn's score 9.85.
McKenna
Oh!
Really nice job. She fell on that vault in warm-up, and when we were watching Bart, I was a little nervous for her, but she knows how to compete. She knows what she's doing. Yurchenko half on front pike off, sticks the landing. Wow, really nice job for McKenna.
The 10-time All-American competing a vault known as a Omelianchek, named after famous gymnast Oksana Omelianchek from Ukraine. All right, here's Kennedy Thomas from the St. Louis area. See, her bar average is quite low. She had a mistake as well last week. Ella Shell's scores came in 9-1-2-5 after she put her hands down on that landing. Oh, no. Looked like she had it.
It looked like her hands got over the bar, and that was where she had her mistake last week, Bart. Right there on that Tkachev. Back down to the low bar. Just the dismount here.
Oh.
Not the routine that Iowa State wanted, or Kennedy. Really unfortunate mistakes there. And really was so clean, you know, after that fall, you never want to have an athlete fall, but she was doing such a nice job of keeping that bar routine clean, and then unfortunately sat down that dismount.
So another mistake for Iowa State on an event that they told us before the meet was going to be crucial to their success today, is how well they do on bars. McKenna Smith had a 9.925. Here's Zoe Johnson.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. I saw Zoe in warm-up really struggle with this vault, so really nice to see her not only land it on her feet, but get a really good block off the vault. You see she's a little crooked outside of those lines. Looked like she surprised herself there.
The judges have those lines to mark whether the athletes are in line with the vault table, and they use that as a guideline in terms of deductions for technique, form, execution. There are 2 judges in a collegiate competition. They average the scores between the 2 judges to come up with the final score. At the postseason championships, there are 4 judges and sometimes as many as 6 judges, where they throw out the high and low and average the scores in the middle. Dual meets are a little bit different. This is Kai Boho from Golden, Colorado. Now, this is a very critical event for Iowa State if they're going to come in with a respectable score today, because they have 2 misses already. They need a hit right now.
Nice Jaeger there to start things off. So far, so good, Bart. Great execution, toe point. Just the dismount, double layout. Tiny hop and a step with that right foot, but overall really well done. Again, coming after Kennedy's unfortunate, that's an 8.375, so they will have to count Ella's 9.125. So the goal is to really just get them back on track.
Kaya Boho competed as a bar specialist in all but 1 meet last year. She's a transfer from West Virginia the prior year. Here is Avery Neff. Her vault average is a 9.9, but she got the first 10 of the NCAA season with this vault because of her technique, clean form, and solid landing. Let's see if she can do it again. Oh!
Not gonna be a 10. That foot did take a step backwards, but really great form throughout that vault. Gonna take another look here. Really nice job. You saw the landing, Bart. Her shoulders were a little bit behind her body when she landed, showing the judges a little bit of lack of rotation, but does a really nice job covering up that and just minimizing the deductions on the landing.
Frederick Scarbosa. They call her Fred. Canadian elite athlete. Deferred her collegiate career by 1 extra year, hoping to make the Canadian Olympic team. Fell just short, but she's quite a talent. The sophomore from Quebec.
Fred has gorgeous lines. Beautiful cast handstands. And the dismount, double layout. Step forward on the landing, but overall really clean routine. And one thing she does so well, she's so aggressive on bars. She's not afraid to even go a little over the cast handstand. And this dismount's a double layout. Just lets go a little early. You see those shoulders kind of continuing forward and that momentum having to take a step forward.
Remember, 6 athletes compete. The best 5 scores count towards their team total. The score on the scoring tower on your right that's grayed out for each of the 2 teams is the low score, the one they would drop. So when Frederica Scarbosa's score come in, we'll see Iowa State's final total on that event, bringing us to the halfway point. But Iowa State clearly about 3 points behind at this point, behind Utah, who's on a pace for a 196, which is not up to the standard of the Utah Utes that we know. Championship teams are scoring 196 to 197, 198. Those are between 9.8 and 9.9 averages. And so now we have the head coach of the Utah Utes, Carly Dockendorf. Carly, your 9th season with Utah, your 3rd as a head coach. You've seen it all. But today is a little unusual. What's the message to your team at the halfway point in this competition?
Yeah, we just got to keep doing the gymnastics that we practice every day in the gym and not make it a bigger deal because we had a little bit of a rough start. And, you know, floor is a new event and we got beam to go still, so lots of good things to come.
Carly, after bars, you know, it was a little uncharacteristic for you guys, but you really seemed to bounce back. How impressed were you with your team going into vault in that second rotation?
Yeah, I really liked how they left bars at bars and moved forward. This is a really strong vault team, and they really are confident in the vaults that they're putting out there. So I think that helped that we moved to that event next, coming off kind of an uncharacteristic bar set for us.
All right, thank you, Carly. Good luck with the rest of the meet and the rest of the season. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you. Go Utes.
And after the break, we'll get to know more about these 2 coaching staffs from Utah and Iowa State. NCAA Gymnastics continues on ESPN. Ames, Iowa, Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan. The Utah Utes extend their lead after rotation 2, but they've only had one score of 9-9 plus through 2 rotations. Not exactly what they had hoped for. Now there is Ashley Miles-Grigg, the head coach at Iowa State, and she's in her 3rd season here. She herself a gymnastics legend from about 20 years ago. She was a member of the U.S. World Championship team, 4-time NCAA champion, was a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Then she spent about a decade in automobile financing. Then she worked for a couple of years for us for ESPN as a gymnastics analyst, and she couldn't get the chalk off of her hands and had to get back in the gym, Bridget.
Really nice job for Ashley, having so much background, so many different levels in the gymnastics community. Really nice to see her. And with this brand new coaching staff, it's really unique to see this young team. They've got a lot left in this season, so excited to see what they do next.
Ashley, of course, a legend, but she's not the only coaching legend out on the floor today. Ashley had, of course, an outstanding career at Alabama. Well, what about Reagan Smith now? Reagan Smith is on their staff, former U.S. Olympic alternate and OU national champion. She's an assistant coach at Iowa State. And Maya Hambrick, former LSU SEC champion, a current coach at Utah. So excited to see so many of these stars, including Grace McCallum, the former U.S. Olympic silver medalist, Pac-12 champion. She's a graduate student coach for the Utah Utes. It's so great to see so many of these superstars staying involved in the sport and giving back in these ways as coaches. There's Reagan Smith, a very popular international elite and NCAA champion. All right, promo 3's coming up because it's the Australian Open round of 16. The coverage continues tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus and continues on ESPN2 at 7:30 Eastern. Highlighted by some of the top Americans. Madison Keys takes on Jess Pegula and Amanda Anisimova and Taylor Fritz. You also get Yannick Sinner's match. As always, every match throughout the tournament is available on the ESPN app.
Well, Bart, we've got some exciting routines coming up. McKenna Smith from Utah on floor and Aubrey Gagné on Iowa State on balance beam. We come back.
Rebecca Ames, Iowa. Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan here at the halfway point of this dual meet competition in NCAA gymnastics. 10-time national champion, the Utah Utes. They've won 9 NCAA championships and 1 AIAW championship. They are being welcomed by the Iowa State Cyclones. This is the first time Utah has competed here, of course, with conference realignment. Now these two teams together in the Big 12. Utah will be on floor exercise in this third of 4 rotations, and the home team, the Iowa State Cyclones, will be on the beam. And that brings us to Haley Harden. We noted her contributions on both floor and vault, scoring 9 9s in both of those events last week. A little under that this week with a 9.65 on vault. But it looks like there may be a lineup change here for Iowa State. Waiting to get clarification. This is Lauren Obrakta. Haley Harden had been listed to be in a leadoff spot. She's not going, so Obrakta got the leadoff spot, which is a very critical spot in all of women's gymnastics, isn't it, Bridget?
It is, and this is the most difficult event in gymnastics, balance beam. The beam is only 4 inches wide, and these athletes are doing difficult skills. Very nice extension on those leaps. Lauren being put into this leadoff position, and Bart, this was a last-minute change. So really, Lauren is doing exactly what her job is. She is staying on the balance beam, hitting a clean routine. Almost stuck dismount. Biggest mistake was that acro series, had that balance check, but really nice start.
You got to hand it to her for going for difficulty. That triple series is extra difficulty on beam, and congratulations to her and Ashley Miles-Grigg for stepping up the level of difficulty, because many times you can do an easy routine that still starts from a 10-0, but the gymnastics community, we all appreciate the athlete that takes that extra risk. Cammie Winger now for Utah in the leadoff spot here on floor.
Oh! And a fall on that first pass. That was a 1.5 front full. Just didn't quite get the bounce that she needed to get that rotation. Assistant coach Maya Hambrick in the corner. She does a lot of these athletes' choreography. Nice 2.5 twist there for Cammie. Not the way Utah wanted to start with that lead off. Taking another look, this is where the mistake happened. This is a round off 1.5 twist into front full, and it looked like she just didn't get the rebound out of that 1.5, giving her the momentum. But finishes with a very nice 2.5 twist.
9.65 the score for Lauren Obrochta in the leadoff spot. Now this is a big moment for this young lady, Chloe Hammond, the junior from locally here in Iowa. She's a transfer from a Division III school. Gives all those young athletes out there that are hoping someday to compete in college. There are a lot of opportunities in women's collegiate gymnastics with nearly 80 Division I programs and several Division II and III programs. Great to see that she got the call to step up to Division I and compete here in her home state. Oh.
Mistake on that acro series. Chloe was not in the lineup last week, so we're seeing a lot of changes in these lineups throughout the season. They're trying to solidify. Great extension on those jumps. Dismount. Oh. Cat leap into layout step out. And the dismount gainer full. Not the routine Chloe was looking to have. Take another look at this acro series where it kind of went a little sideways and she was really crooked there. You saw those hips. An athlete wants their hips to be square over the beam, especially when they're doing any flipping motion. So unfortunately that sideways kind of start for her caused that mistake.
Bridget, here we are in the 4th week of the season. The newness of the season has worn off. So you're into the, into the grind a little bit. I think we're seeing some athletes that, I don't know, I was hoping I'd see a little more enthusiasm out there. What about you?
Yeah, and I think too, this is their first home competition in front of their home crowd. You just got to get the nerves out and have a little fun out there.
There you go.
Zoe Johnson starting that huge double layout, coming after Cammie's 8.925. That is going to be the score they want to drop. Front tuck step out, the double pike. Little short on that landing. Covers it very well though, getting right to her lunge. Nice job for Zoe getting this team back on track. Very important coming after a mistake. And she opens up with this huge double layout. Has a little extra juice in the tank. And then finishes front tuck step out into a double pike, but you see her chest is a little low. Really covers that up well, eliminating deductions.
Back to beam now. The score for Chloe Hammond, unfortunately, only a 9.05. Obrochta had a 9.65. This brings up Aubrey Gagné.
I really like Aubrey on this event. She is so aggressive at the meet last weekend. She's aggressive to her finishes. Just like that, you saw those arms swing down super quickly. Would love to see her lunge be a little bit bigger. jump. Layout step out, nicely done there.
The sophomore only competed one event last year for Iowa State. That was the vault, so stepping up here. And I do like her sort of authoritative work on the beam. She's aggressive.
She almost performs like she owns the beam, which is a really good thing. And I have to say she's doing a great job so far with this beam routine, coming after Chloe's mistake, getting the team back on track.
Yeah.
Really nice job. Slight step on that dismount, but well done.
Often the balance beam routine after a mistake is one of the more crucial in the whole meet, isn't it?
It is, and right here, this is a handspring layout step out. She was a little crooked, but she was so aggressive to that finish position. Saves it, and just a tiny step on that dismount. That was a back handspring into a 1.5 twist.
Well, she got a couple of notes there from Reagan Smith on the coaching staff. Reagan herself, NCAA champion, and many time the scorer of perfect 10s on beam when she competed at Oklahoma. Here's Ella Zerbis. This is going to be enjoyable. She's got the whole package, Bridget.
Ella is a great performer, but she is also a great tumbler. Wow. Front handspring, double twist. Beautifully done. Gorgeous leaps there. Her toe point and execution is textbook.
For those of you tuning in who don't see a lot of gymnastics on ESPN, gymnastics in college is quite a bit different than the elite international level, like the Olympic level, because college gymnastics is less about the difficulty and more about technique, execution, and form. And that's one of the reasons there's so much parity in college gymnastics.
Really nice job by Ella. Gorgeous routine.
Now, Bridget, skills are ranked from A to E, A being the easiest, E being the hardest. That right there is an E move, right?
That is an E move, and she does it so well. You saw those feet glued to the ground on that landing in this leap. Switch half, straddle full. The execution in her toe point, it's from her fingertips all the way down to her toe point. Just so well done.
Many times in Olympic level gymnastics, it's all about the difficulty, but here the leaps are equally as important as the tumbling skills. Aubrey Gagne had a 9.625. Here's Frederique Scarbosa. They call her Fred.
Acro series. Nice job there. You saw that dip a little bit in that left shoulder, but again, these athletes are getting to their finishing position so quickly. Oh, slight balance check there. You saw that leg come off the beam.
Oh.
That is not what Iowa State was wanting.
Explain what the judges do with a mistake like that.
Well, so that's a guaranteed, no questions asked, no inquiry needed. It's a 5/10 deduction. And it really can throw off the rhythm of an athlete's routine. Dismount, round off 1.5. You can see
That's
it.
the
She's
second
not
miss for Iowa State on beam, so they're going to have to count at least one low score in this rotation.
And Bart, her shoulders, you see that chest drop as soon as her feet hit. That was a split 3/4 and just couldn't stay up.
Back to Utah now on floor. Ella Zerbis had a 9.85. Here is the sophomore superstar, Avery Neff.
far. This is a fun routine, but Avery's not afraid to do the difficult skills. Huge front double twist into a front half, into a double stag jump.
Another thing the judges are looking for, of course, is those combinations of skills together, as you mentioned. You get combination bonus for connecting difficult skills back to back.
Gearing up for this last pass for Avery. She's coming after Ella's 9.85.
Oh!
And just over rotates that round off 1.5. An unfortunate mistake.
Really uncharacteristic. Now that's the second mistake on floor for Utah. Not having the day that they were hoping for. They were hoping for a high away score.
But right here, you saw her body continuing forward after the 1.5. There was no room to get any bounce into that front full. Really unfortunate.
That was one of those combinations she was attempting to get the extra bonus, doing those bounding skills back to back. Noelle Adams now. Scarbosa score 9.05. For Iowa State, they have 2 9.05s and 2 scores in the 9.6s. They need to pick it up here.
Nice switch leap for Noelle. She had a mistake last week on that opening combination, so really nice to see her finish. Nice full turn. A requirement for each athlete is a form of a full turn. Can sometimes be one of the more challenging skills, but a nice gainer full off the side. Really nice job for Noelle. You can tell she's excited. That was a big moment. Again, last week she had that mistake on a big combination and finishes this routine with a huge gainer full off the side. Keeps those hips open. She is excited.
He's like, that's who I am. Let's get this going now, ladies. Good for her, bringing some energy to the building and trying to get her team back on track. Now here's an important moment for this young lady, Poppy Grace Stickler, the sophomore from Cardiff, Wales. She competed as a member of the British national team, was in their world championship team back in 2022 and 2023. This is her first time in the lineup this year. She was injured last year, so big opportunity for her.
Opens up with a double layout. Poppy has a lot of fun on this floor routine. One thing she does so well is, I mean, she performs. She's not just competing floor, she is performing floor. Front layout to 1.5 there. Bart, I think that heel was actually out of bounds. I didn't see a flag go up. Really nice job. First time in the lineup. This is how it starts. So really well done for Poppy Grace Stickler there. But this last pass, this is a front layout, front 1.5 twist, and it looks like that heel. So they have to stay inside the blue carpet. Looked like that heel was just on the cusp of the white.
Good for her for going for that big double layout at the beginning of the routine. And a great opportunity for her to work her way into the lineup. Remember, Utah is one of the great programs in all of college gymnastics with their 10 national championships, and 49 years straight they have qualified through to the national championships as a team. It's pretty remarkable. Here, back to Iowa State now. Great opportunity here for Finley Weldon. Noelle Adams had a 9.6, so they have 2 9.05s and 3 scores 9.6 or better to come away with a decent beam score. They need a hit right now because they're going to have to count one of those 2 9.05s in the team score.
And Bart, Finley was slated to be exhibition today, so she is in the lineup here. Really nice acro series. Handspring layout step out. Slight balance check on that jump, but really great extension. Hat leap front aerial, beautiful job on that connection. This is a huge moment for Finley. Dismount. Wow.
Good for her.
That is big. Big for her confidence and big for her team. Showing up when it counts. Again, she wasn't supposed to be in the lineup. So having her in this anchor spot starts things off. That was her acro series. So well done. Great job on her split, and then finishes gainer full with a stick.
New to the lineup at the anchor spot of all things when they needed a hit. Finley Weldon delivers after they pulled Haley Harden out of the lineup on beam. So great finish there. They'll have 4 out of 6 hits for Iowa State. Now, McKenna Smith on floor after Poppy Grace Stickler had the 9.625. Remember, Utah has 2 falls here. They need a hit as well. Oh, yeah.
Nice job there for McKenna. If you need a guarantee hit, you're looking at McKenna Smith. McKenna's another one of these Utah athletes that just performs when she's on floor. Right handspring, 1.5 twist to layout, step out. Wow, really nice job for McKenna. Not the floor rotation Utah wanted, or one that we're really used to seeing from Utah, but finishes it with a huge floor routine for McKenna. Opens up with that front double twist to punch front. Really nice job.
Guaranteed hit, always. McKenna Smith, one of the most consistent competitors for the Utah Utes. Jimmy Pratt, Mike Unger there giving her congratulations along with Maya Hambrick and her teammates. So we've seen several mistakes today from both of these teams. Bridget, it occurs to me, why? What do you think?
Well, it's just one of those days. You know, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off. Bart, you know it. You and I both know it better than anybody. Not everybody has great days, so really want to see them bounce back in this 4th rotation.
Now, both of these coaches gave us some of the metrics that they're shooting for in this competition. We spoke with Carly Duckendorf and Ashley Miles-Grigg earlier this week about what would measure this meet up to them for terms of success. Let's go down to the head coach at Iowa State, Ashley Miles-Grieg. Ashley, Spartan Bridget here. I'm curious, what's the message to your team now as you get set for the fourth and final rotation? You've had some highs and lows today.
A lot of moving parts, man. I mean, we just had a freshman have to step up and go and beam in the 6th spot. That wasn't the plan. Lots of moving parts. So the message to them before going to floor was really just to, hey, there's nothing like closing out a meet at home on floor. Like, no inhibitions. We have to go big. We have to go all out. We have to go out there, have fun, stay focused, and finish this meet on a high note.
Well, Ashley, you just mentioned Finley on balance beam. That was a huge moment for not just her, but it looked like a huge moment for her team. But what did it mean for you to see her do that beam routine?
Yeah, she showed who she is, for sure. I mean, that's something that you can't teach, that grit, that determination, that focus when the pressure is on. So Finley just did a good job. Good job, Finn. Proud of you, babe.
You got to love the enthusiasm of Ashley Miles-Grieg. Good luck in the final rotation, Ashley.
Thanks, guys. Go Cyclones.
All right, UConn Gymnastics is one of the most decorated programs in NCAA history, and we'll take a look at their legacy when we come back to Ames.
Utah's legacy is about qualifying to the national championships every year. It's the legacy of the fans that continue to show up in the Huntsman, you know, sellout crowds of 15,000 plus. And also I think the women that have built this legacy, the Red Rocks themselves.
Honestly, I didn't really know Utah's legacy until I got to Utah, and our first inter-squad we had like a bajillion donors and alum come, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this program is really loved.
I think if you're coming to Utah, you're excited about the pressure that comes along with it, and we really do look at it as a privilege to be a part of a program that has gone for 49 years straight to the national championships. And does it get your heart pounding? Absolutely, but that's what makes it so exciting.
I think it's always something that's in the back of our mind. So I think just, again, going back, relying on our training, knowing that we are going to have to fight for it, but that's the fun part.
Utah can only do Utah, but I can just tell you from what I've seen, this is the hardest working team I've seen at Utah.
And we're back in Ames, Iowa. Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan. There is Carly Dockendorf. You look at the early season recap for the Utah Utes. They returned 18 of 24 routines from last year. Last meet they had a 197.3. They're not on that pace today. They had a disappointing performance in several routines, and so they're hoping to finish this one out on beam and get a respectable away score. Thursday night, we have an ESPN women's basketball doubleheader. 9th-ranked TCU hosts Kansas in our first game at 6 Eastern. Then number 8 Louisville against Stanford at Maples Pavilion. Both are also available on the ESPN app. We'll be back with more gymnastics from Ames, Iowa, the final rotation, when we come back. Ames, Iowa. We're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan, getting set for the fourth and final rotation here between the Utah Utes and the Cyclones of Iowa State University. The first time these two teams have met in Ames. Here are the athletes who are listed to compete in this fourth and final rotation. Utah will be on the beam, and the home team, Iowa State, will be on the floor. Elizabeth Gantner will get that leadoff spot for the Utes here. Utah not on pace for the kind of competition that Carly Dockendorf had hoped for. But as she told us earlier, finish strong. And a bit of a gut check here because they have to finish strong on a tough event, the beam. And we saw them earlier this year at the Sprouts Collegiate Quad meet show a great deal of inconsistency. This is a very important rotation for their team confidence, Bridget.
It is, and this is a big moment for these athletes to step up. They know what's happened on the first 3 rotations, so this is big for their confidence. And also, I mean, we have to talk about NQS is going to come up soon, and these road scores are crucial for when those scores come out.
You mentioned NQS, that's the national qualifying score. It's a combination of home and away scores. This year, the away scores are weighted more than the home scores to try to determine each team's opportunities in the postseason. They take into consideration 9 scores total. They average them out, and that's how you're placed in the postseason bracket. So you're right, Utah, even though they're not going to get a terrific score today, they need the best away score they can possibly get right now.
And that was a really nice start for Elizabeth Gantner from Indianapolis, Indiana, fellow Hoosier.
There you go.
Really nice start. Again, like you mentioned, Bart, this isn't going to be the score that they necessarily wanted, but every score counts, so you cannot give up. You cannot lose the fight. And Elizabeth's showing that Utah, they're still in it, and they're still wanting that big score as much as they can get.
We've had a lineup change here for Iowa State. Now, this is Chloe Hammond. They have taken out Frederique Scarbosa out of the floor lineup. They're only going to go with 5 athletes, meaning that all 5 have to hit. Oh!
And big mistake on that double pike. Just had a little too much energy there. Bart, you mentioned that Iowa State only putting up 5 athletes, so in a typical lineup, you would be able to drop a score, but all 5 of these routines will count towards this team score. Chloe with a 1.5 front layout, nice finish there. Very nice job on that leap combo. Nice finish, but unfortunately with that big mistake at the beginning, but a mistake that is very easy to fix. This is a round off back handspring double pike and just has a little too much momentum. You saw, I think she hung on to her legs just a little too long. But that's an easy fix. It's when you lack the rotation that it can be really challenging to fix. So not a problem for Chloe in the future. I think she just needs to work a little harder on those landings.
That's a good point, Bridget. It's always better to overdo a skill than underdo it. And so a good opportunity there for Chloe Hammond working her way into the lineup as we go back now to Utah on beam. Gantner had a 9.85. Here is McKenna Smith. Whoa.
Really nice save there on that. That was a wolf turn. Very difficult, but it was a double wolf turn. So really nice save for McKenna. Gorgeous handspring layout, step out.
You got it!
Lead combination. McKenna is so confident on balance beam. Very unique artistry. Showing off that flexibility.
Utah, like other teams, has been experimenting a little bit with their lineups on this event as well as floor. They're only ranked 31st in the country on this event because of the low scoring first competitions.
Nice gainer pike off the end. Really solid routine for McKenna. The biggest mistake that I saw really was just at the beginning with that double wolf turn. But this series, this is her acro series. And look at the height in her layout step out. Beautifully done. And this is a gainer pike off the end, finds that landing, solidifies that routine with a stick.
Utah, of course, one of the blue bloods of all college gymnastics, rarely out of the top 5 in the country over the last 4 decades. They are consistently a national championship contender, although it's been several years since they won their last national title, but regularly in the Final Four at the championships. Madeline Manternak now on floor. Chloe Hammond had a 9.5. Manternak is in for Ella Schell as they adjusted their lineup as well.
Front full into what looked like, I think that might have been a front layout. Didn't quite have enough rotation, had to tuck those knees. Round out back handspring double tuck. Nice finish there, a little low on her chest with that landing, but finesses that finish. Nice job for Madeline coming in. She was not intending to do floor today, so really nice job. Again, we're seeing these athletes step up. We might not be seeing the routines that they want, but really nice job for them stepping up.
What a big Monday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the ESPN app. Number 5, Duke, host number 23, Louisville at Cameron Indoor at 7 Eastern. Then the undefeated number 1 Wildcats are in Provo to take on number 13, BYU. Should be a great night of hoops coming up. Abby Risman now after McKenna Smith had a 9.875, so 2 very strong scores for Utah here in this 4th and final rotation on beam.
Handspring layout, step out. Abby, a freshman in this beam lineup. Had some mistakes early in the season, but has really honed in on the detail work. So poised on this event. See, she finishes each skill, each dance, each pose, and holds it. Dismount. Round off double twist and gets the stuck landing.
Now, Bridget, that's the kind of routine that is totally on brand for Utah gymnastics, isn't it?
It is, and this is what we're used to seeing. Abby starts things off. That was a handspring layout step out, but this dismount, a round off double twist. Not only does she do the difficult dismount of a double twist, but she sticks it cold. Really, really well done.
With beautiful execution, toe point throughout. A Utah trademark for sure. Aubrey Gani now on floor. You see her average this year so far is a 9.5. Manternak had a 9.4. Hammond was the leadoff at 9.5.
Big first pass here for Aubrey. Round off, tuck full in. Oh. Steps out of bounds there. Again, not a bad problem to have over rotating your skills, but these are the moments where you really gotta control that power. Aubrey gearing up for that last pass here. Again, we mentioned we're only going to see 5 athletes compete on floor, so all 5 scores will count. Really well done. That was a front layout to front full, that combination pass. Really nice finish for Aubrey.
Ashley Miles-Grieg, along with her assistant Jasmine Estrella, do most of the choreography for these ladies.
Let's go, Anna! Let's go, Anna!
Anna Potterio now coming after Abby Rissman, had a spectacular 9.925. That's only the second score today in today's entire meet that was 9.9 or better.
Gorgeous double wolf turn there. No arm swing, gets right to the finish. From aerial to that handspring. This combination for Anna.
I mentioned the scores are a little bit lower than we're normally seeing. It's not just because some of the execution, but also I think there's been some criticism about the judging just being too high all around in college gymnastics. And I'm happy to see the judges today are applying the deductions that are appropriate.
Anna's gonna finish this routine. Gainer pike. Very nice job. And Bart, I have to agree, these scores, they might not be what we're used to seeing and what these athletes are used to getting, but when a mistake happens, you're gonna get deducted for it, but no mistakes there. That was a wolf double turn. Huge height on that gainer pike off the end. Such a performer.
That will be a big score, no question about it. That execution was superb for Potterio. Here's Noelle Adams. Aubrey Gani had a 9.475. Remember, they're only competing 5 athletes, so all 5 scores will count towards the team total. You can't drop one in this situation.
Gorgeous double tuck to start things off for Noelle. Stays inbound, which has been challenging for a couple of the athletes in this lineup. Great extension on those leaps. Bart, we talk so much about the tumbling, and we're not necessarily going to see the big tumbling, but they have been really focusing on those leap combinations because they are crucial to get that 10-0 start value. Gorgeous front layout to front 1.5. Really nice job for Noelle. I mean, Bart, that was the first floor routine that not only stayed in bounds, but I mean, really did well on controlling every single landing in this last pass. Front layout to front 1.5. So much height, sees that landing. I love it. Teammates love it, me too.
And Noelle, she was coached in club gymnastics in Mesa, Arizona by some a familiar name in gymnastics, Amanda Borden, a member of the 1996 gold medal team, the Mag 7. So good job for Noelle, and congratulations to Amanda. Her pupil is doing exceptionally well in college. Now, look at the scores over on beam. Utah has earned these scores. 9.925 for Potterariu. Superb execution throughout. Here's Cammie Winger. That's now the third score of 9.9 or better. And Utah trying to finish off today, which was not exactly what they had hoped for, but trying to finish here on a positive note.
Cammie opening up, handspring, layout, step out, layout,
yes.
Step out. Really nice job. Very difficult triple series there. It was actually a little off. She was a little bit crooked, but held on to it and was able to correct that landing, minimizing the deductions.
I really like the aggressiveness I'm seeing from the Utah athletes here on beam. They do not seem timid here.
And Bart, there's such a nice balance of being, you don't want to be timid, but you don't want to be too aggressive. And I really do feel, I agree, Utah's doing a nice job of finding that balance of being aggressive, but also being in control of everything they do. Dismount.
Yes.
That will be another big score for Utah, coming after Anna's 9.95. Take a look. This is a triple series, so 3 elements: handspring, layout, step out, and those toes were gripping the beam, but finishes with a nice back handspring gainer full off the side and gets the stick.
Their low score there is a 9.85. They already have scores up to 9.95 from Potterariu, and they have one competitor to go. This is the final competitor now for Iowa State on floor, Haley Harden. 9.875 was the score for Noelle Adams. Congratulations to her. Iowa State hoping to finish this meet on a positive note as well.
Bart, this is an event where Haley has scored a 9.9, so she knows how to do it.
Yes.
And that is how you do it. Huge opening pass. Gorgeous 1.5 to lay out. Final pass for Haley. So far, this has been a great performance. Double tuck. Really nice work there. Coming after Noelle's 9.875. Bart, that is going to be a big score. Again, not the floor rotation that Iowa State wanted, but what a great routine to end with in this first pass. Huge double pike. Gorgeous landing. Big tumbling and big excitement at the end.
The sophomore from Wichita Falls, Texas, did her club training at Texas Dreams with Kim Zameskel. Of course, herself a world champion. Avery Neff now the final competitor for Utah on beam. Cammie Winger had a 9.9.
Very nice. Side aerial to 2 feet. Nice combination there. Avery has not had the day that she's used to having, but one thing that you can almost guarantee about this athlete is she's a gamer.
She had two 9.875s on vault and bars, only a 9.075 on floor.
Well done for Avery. Utah ending with a nice beam routine in this fourth rotation. And Bart, I have to say, Haley Harden with a huge 9.925, so really great job for Iowa State.
Oh, that's right, and that's a career high for her. Well-deserved here, and a great way for the Cyclones to finish this home opener for the Cyclones. Now, Utah was lights out on beam. They definitely finished on a positive note, Bridget.
Abby Rissman here, just a freshman, but competes like a veteran, scoring a huge 9.925 with that routine. And Miss Anna, she is a star on this event. You see her finishes. Anna Paterario, gorgeous. And she's so happy when she finishes every routine. So nice to see her perform so well tonight.
Couple of notes from head coach Carly Dockendorf to her Utah Utes, one of the great programs in all of not just gymnastics, but in all of women's collegiate sports. They did not have the kind of day they wanted, but finished very strong in that final rotation. Avery Neff had a 9.825 on beam. So Utah with a 195.725 gets the win over the home team, the Iowa State Cyclones, who had a 192.3. We're sure glad you joined us all. For Bridget Sloan and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Bart Connor saying so long from Ames, Iowa. Remember, folks, on the other side of the break, we're going to the X Games. Thanks for watching.